Good morning to all of us tuning in. This is the Rebel Lemon, and today we're playing Raincoat. So, this is about a city that is isolated among many others. And we're gonna live out a day in one of its inhabitants and experience what they experience. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. There was a time when the sky was clear. Birds flew free and far. Oh, how the sun shines brightly. The city echoes in activity. One day, it started to rain, and it has been raining ever since. No one knows why or how something like that is possible. Numerous meteorologists could not explain the internal downpour. Roads have flooded, farming has become more difficult due to erosion. We have to adapt to the new climate, but we're barely living. It's been many years since. A woman lay in her bed, her eyes fluttering open upon the ring of a phone alarm. She sat up and stretched in the dark of a room barely lit by a curtain-covered window. Ah, Sophie? Is that how you pronounce that name? Last night was colder than normal. Maybe it will snow instead? That would be a change. Not a better one, but a welcome change. Sophie looked towards the window, a small sigh escaping her lips. The shadows of falling rain were visible behind the curtains. She knows she would feel better if she could let some light in, combat the embrace of a moody environment. While electricity, though iffy at times, is not something that has diminished completely, it has been advised to save as much power as possible. She would rather save the power to charge her phone than sate her want of a bit of brightness. There are also curious circumstances that made doing so dangerous, and no one has yet to properly explain why. Open the curtains. Well, I don't believe we're actually gonna die, or it's dangerous, so yeah, let's take a look. Surely nothing bad could happen this early in the day. A voice in her head reprimands her recklessness as Sophie slowly makes her way to the curtained window. Raindrops cascade down from the rooftop, and among the window panes, she draws a breath as she basks in the cloudy light. It's been many years since it all began. It started by raining for 3 days straight, then a week, then a month. The weather section of the news broadcast became more anticipated quite early in the phenomenon. Then people stopped caring, instead turning to adjusting to this new part of our lives. Normalcy in the face of absurdity. A child so young, a sight uncommon. It's not rare to have children doing all of this. People be having a lot of time indoors. Still, it would bring them into a harsher and colder world. A world where they couldn't see sun or feel rays on their skin. Sophie smiled softly at the young girl. Oh, hi. She raised a hand at the child and waved in surprise. The kid grinned and waved back enthusiastically. Cute kid. It's honestly heartwarming to see such radiant joy Despite this gloomy rainfall, where are her parents? Are they not watching her? Keeping her away from the window? Sophie quickly noticed a difference in the environment. Oh no. Existence ceases, unlike the rain. But the story's end is not this. Okay, I'll skip to the section where we have to hide. Heart beats fast as Sophie dropped to the ground, hiding from outside view. Her breath quickens for a moment in this rush of fear. Moments passed, and all there is to hear is rain. Sophie slowly rose to her feet. The curtains were turned to cover the window. She calmed herself, the drumming in her ear quieting down. Heart sinks upon seeing what became of the girl. The child did not hide fast enough. It seems as her clothes lay limp against the glass of the balcony door. No one has yet to discover what is causing incidents like this to happen, but a common factor has been rain stopping out of nowhere lately. Oh, no bear nearby. Many thoughts and emotions went through Sophie's head. Another soul. Lost. It is unfortunately part of our lives now, this haunting presence. Grief is so common nowadays. Best not to dwell on it too much. Sophie tugged on her wandering mind to leave it, to have it focus on what is to be done that day. She shakily nods her head a bit, nervously remembering what is planned for today. Oh, right. I'm supposed to meet with Nyland today. Sophie pulls her gaze away from the window, getting off of bed as she prepared to head out. Fixed her bed, got dressed in simple and comfortable clothes. The works for a day out. Keys, wallet, phone. While money may have lost its value, and cellular services are barely there, she believes that trying to live some parts of life like all is still well would benefit her sanity. After confirming the important possessions are on her own, she made her way to the entrance door. Oh, we can save. Interesting. Her eyes slowly drifted towards her raincoat on its rack. The raincoat is of good quality, a gift from family far away when this whole raining thing began. I haven't heard from them in the past years. A moment of lingering, and slowly reaching towards it, she grabbed the coat and began to put it on, a melancholic air throughout. In these times, a raincoat serves as armor. A bit of weight added, but necessary to survive. To wear it, or not to wear rain boots today. This once fair city unfortunately still stands, but with the flooded roads, it stands quite alone. If you look outward from the rooftops of tall buildings, you can see far-off cities in the same state. Very brave few make the journey on boats between these places for trades of whatever food and supplies still remain. That's why there's still people, even if the numbers are dwindling. Many fell ill through a cold climate, and medicine was scarce. They were given no relief as they passed. Some lost themselves to despair and insanity, having to shroud themselves in darkness in their own home. And some just disappeared. Yet still, there are people, and they have hope that one day the rain will cease, and we could greet the clear skies and shining sun once again. What's going on over there? Sophie notices a small group nearby as sobs run through the rain. A few more steps, and what comes into her sights is a man crying on his knees, cradling what seems like a black raincoat, a pile of clothes near him. It appears he is too deep in sorrow that he hasn't noticed that he was garnering a small crowd. Let's approach. Sophie began walking towards him. As he cradled the raincoat, the group of people that were around him slowly dispersed, worried that such a commotion would draw the attention of unseen death. She slowed her steps, coming down on her knees to get face to face with him. Sobbed. I'm sorry for your loss. You have to get yourself together. You're risking yourself by staying here. Then maybe I can join him. Sophie bit her lips, trying to find the words to comfort him. Would he even want that? The man sniffled and finally lifted his head to meet her unsure eyes. I don't know if she was tired of it all. She would have told me. She should have told me. I could have helped her. We were supposed to get supplies for the week. I was holding her hand. We crossed the street. Then I saw something strange. An area without rain in the corner of my eyes. I tried to pull her close so we could move fast, but she let go. Yeah. And then the man hung his head and took a deep breath. What will you do now? I don't know. If you want a suggestion, maybe you could continue to get supplies. The man merely looked at her with a mostly blank stare, subtle movements on his face, trying to process what was said to him. I'm really sorry for your loss, but I believe that she would want you to keep going. Sophie turned to start collecting the clothes scattered on the ground and presented it to him in a neat enough pile. Just please. The man received it with shaky hands. Sophie stood up and helped him up too. They shared a gaze of grief and an empathy for him. A moment longer, and soon she left him. I continued on my way for many minutes, and there I saw a man struggling and stumbling about, a bottle in hand, maybe drunk. He made intangible grunts, almost tripping over himself. He tugged his pants, his shirt, and soon the sleeves of his raincoat. It is as though the layers are pins and needles to him. Rashes on his skin he can't help but scratch. Sophie's eyes widened as he let out a yell and tore off the raincoat, a laugh of relief escaping his mouth. At this, she felt her feet moving on their own towards the man. No, put it back on. They met each other's gazes. Sophie stopped abruptly, spotting something on the road. Oh no. You would think finding a small area of clear lane would be deemed a blessing. It is not. All such phenomenon, we have learned to stay clear and lay low. The man noticed the anomaly, and it was a big one, but he was too intoxicated to remember the dangers of it. He smiles and hobbled over. Tripping into the ominous area, he got on his knees and opened his arms wide, as though letting this rare clear weather moment embrace his whole being. Sophie immediately pressed herself against a nearby wall, out of view of the patch without downpour. She wrapped the raincoat tightly and closer around her, keeping her head low, keeping herself small. Shit, sorry. If you press the right mouse button, it goes to that menu, and sometimes my fingers twitch. I apologize for that. Do not look. Do not raise your head. Do not let your face be seen. That is actually kind of nerve-wracking, to be honest. When she is sure there is no lingering threat, Sophie hesitantly peeked around the corner. Where once was a man laid a shirt and pants, the same ones he wore. The dry spot is no longer there. The rain pours heavily, soaking the clothes. This is why the raincoat is most important. We don't know why, but with it, we are safe. We keep our heads down, never looking up, hoping to see the sky. We can survive. Do all of the above, and there's a high chance of surviving an encounter with such abnormality. We get out of here. And so she did, with great haste. Sophie treaded carefully the rest of the way, and soon enough, she arrived at her destination. A small and simple cafe entrance greets her, the front window covered by a roll of blind. The sign has long faded from constant rain. In Guard Cafe, it used to read. There were few patrons inside. Scattered across the tables, some have a small cup of coffee, others a simple sandwich. Ah, good day to you, Sophie. Good day. She turns towards the bar counter and stood the owner, wiping up the steam nozzle of the espresso machine. God, I could really go for one. What are you up to today? Meeting with a friend today. Is he here yet? I honestly don't know who you were referring to. Nyland, you know. The barista's eyes wandered for a bit, then refocused on Sophie. Right, Nyland. I think his face is familiar. Sophie noticed and sat herself by the bar, taking off her coat and settling in to look over the menu. Oh, what to get? Ooh, cafe latte, mango mousse cake, egg sandwich. Okay, let's break it down. I actually really fucking hate egg sandwiches. It's not even the egg or the sandwich bit that gets me. I just don't like the cold egg salad, but you put on the in it, or whatever you want to call it. And it's a texture thing for me. It's just kind of gross. I'm not gonna lie though. Mango mousse cake sounds really good. Oh, but my issue is when it comes to mousse cake, I'm kind of picky on what I like and don't like. Because I like some flavors like coffee and surprisingly chocolate. And like berry flavors like strawberry is a good one. And weirdly enough, if you can ever find it, blueberry. But there's some flavors I also don't like. And granted, maybe it's just the way the person who made them, and I might actually like the flavor, just not the way they did it. But, the question is, would I get a coffee or a mousse cake? I think my personal instinct is to get the latte, but if it's the end of the world, I think I'd get the mousse cake. So, you know what? Fuck it. I will betray my caffeine addiction for that sweet, sweet mango. Ah, you're lucky today. I managed to get some cream recently. I do miss your mango mousse cake. And with a nod, they went to work. It is quiet, save for a few cracks of movement and noises of preparation. Murmurs between the patients are present, ghostly whispers that fill the air. And it is dark. The light from outside barely seeps through the blinds that covers it. Ah, for Sophie. Thank you. Astuab? Thank you, Astuab? She wasted no time tasting the cake, grabbing the fork. She carefully cut a small piece from the slice and ate it. Soft, creamy, sweet, and vibrantly fruity. A smile broke out, nodding her head. It's so good. Ah, happy to hear it. Hopefully I can get a steady enough supply. It could be a permanent item again. Oh, excuse me. Excusez-moi. And they went to tend a newly arrived patron. It would be like that for a bit. People coming in, looking at what's available. Astrolab would give them anything they order, without charge nor trade. It is the least they can do to alleviate their weary souls, they said when asked about it. After some time of waiting, the entrance opens once again. Someone made their way towards Sophie, removing their coat, and soon sitting on the stool beside her. This time, the new patron is someone she knows. You sure took your time. Please, you're just early. She let out a chuckle at that. This is Nyland, someone she formed a bond with during this era of rain. After some moments of settling himself into his seat, his eyes pored over the menu and looked at Astrolab. Whoa, some stuff up bad. I'll have an egg sandwich then. They nodded. In mere moments, the food was prepared and placed on a saucer in front of them. So, what have you been up to? Oh, you know, sleeping up, walking around, standing in the rain, smelling the wet earth. God, you're a fucking hippie. But, sounds like you kept busy, somewhat. But there's only so much I can do, you know? It's getting really repetitive. And I'm feeling so uncomfortable by it. I am not used to doing the same stuff over and over again. A daily routine is not bad at all. How about standing in a different spot of rain? Very funny. How about you? Anything different going on with you? Besides finding a few damp books and reading them? Not much. Been tending to some strays whenever they come by. Oh, that's kinda nice. Just be careful that, not to get bitten. Medicine is, a bit hard to come by nowadays. But, hey, maybe I could have Astra charge my phone. It's been dead for a bit now, and the energy center near me lost power before I could do something about it. I think that's the only thing they don't offer for free. You know how hard it is for solar panels to get energy when rain clouds cover the sky. They probably use much of the power for their refrigerator. And trades all rare products. Yeah, maybe that too. I just want to play some music. I can charge your phone for you. My place still has power, fortunately. Oh, man, lucky. I'd appreciate that. It's getting hard to get up and live the day when you feel like nothing's changed. That this will always be what I will be expecting. Nyland, people heard from the radio that there were folks trying to figure out how to end the rain. There was news that there was a construction being done to make a place that we can choose to have the sun out. Like the people can control the weather? Something like that. You think it's almost finished? It's been... what, how long already? Sophie, let's go there if it is. Do you even know where it is? I haven't checked. And when did you last hear about this? It's been a few months now. Oh, Nyland, we shouldn't bring our hopes up. We'll just get hurt if this turns out that nothing is going to change. I know, but we have to be prepared to accept the possibility that this is our life now. I do not want this to be forever. No one does. Silence followed us for a moment. Then we changed to lighter topics to lift our spirits. In this quiet comes a curious ringing tune. Coming from behind the bar counter, Astra took out their phone and looked at it. Ah, that time, right? They sat down the glass they were drying, and they turned to look at both of us. I need some help with something, if you don't mind. Someone has to watch the counter and welcome folks as they come. I can help. Sophie turned to look at her friend. A small smile crossed his lips as he nodded. Go on. I got it here. Nylon moved to stand behind the counter as Astra motioned Sophie to follow them. They went to a door in the back and climbed the stairs hidden behind it. The sight to behold was something unexpected. It is a small room. Its space utilized to make some sort of indoor garden. There were thin pipes along each box row of big green leafy plants connected to a large container in a corner. There was a pipe starting from the ceiling to the container. The most curious part of the room is a window, uncovered. There's a ray of light coming through, directed at the garden. I wondered how you kept stock of coffee. Honestly, thought you trade for those too. Sometimes, when there are others who are cultivating their own beings. Astra moves slowly through the room, steering clear from the light of the window. I envy plants and animals. They do not have to fear what is out there. At least they'll be alright. At least we don't have to worry about them. They continue to live and grow as they are, and maybe when humans cease to exist, the world will belong to them again. Or to whatever is existing among us. An awkward pause of interaction as Sophie quietly follows Astrab. Upon their instruction, she helped with checking the pipes, making sure nothing is blocking them. Check the drainage and blooming of flowers and ripening of fruit. If you have been tending to this all this time, why do you need help? I figure it'd be faster to have more eyes checking. The barista turned to look at Sophie. And maybe I just wanted to change things up a bit. You know, change up the routine slightly. Sophie lets out a small chuckle as she watched them turn on the valve, and soon rainwater from above began running through the pipes, finding itself into the soil of the coffee garden. This trickling sound of water is calming, and to see someone turning this accursed predicament into something beneficial is heartwarming. Solar panels, rain irrigation system. Yes, I'm very conscious of the environment. Both of them began to make their way back. Sophie turned to look at the uncovered window again. You're free to stay here a bit longer. You're free to stay here a bit longer if you want. I'll find myself doing the same at times. She looked back at them, opened her mouth to say something, but simply nodded. Thank you. It will just be a moment. And so, Astrab left as she stared at the singular window, free from curtains or blinds that light peeks through. A sight not seen in the longest time. What is there to fear? As long as we don't look out. Sophie takes a step closer, raising a hand towards the light. Hesitation. But soon, through her fingers, she could feel the warmth of the sun. A delicate grasp leaves her lips as she moved her fingers, light and shadow dancing about. Then she tugged her hand back. That's enough. I should leave. Sophie opened the door to the cafe, but her friend was not there. She looked towards the other patrons. They did not look away. She gazed at Asha, and they were leaning on their hands on the bar counter, who looked up at her and gave a bittersweet smile. She quietly approached their seats, and her eyes locked in. Oh, Nylon's raincoat. He was already gone when I came back down. I see. Sophie carefully picked up the raincoat and gripped it tight. Her head goes dizzy. Her neck heats up. Many thoughts and emotions rushing through her. I'm sorry. I don't get it. And that's alright. People are complex. There are sounds of shuffling and movement. Sophie lifts her head to look at Astra, who has prepared a to-go cup of coffee. It's the least I can do to try to ease your pain. She said no words as she shakily put her raincoat on and grabbed the cup. There were no tears, but as they shared gaze, there was grief in her eyes. Sophie gave them a slow nod in thanks before quickly leaving the cafe. The streets are quiet as the day grows late. People began to head back home or to a safe place, safe from the outside dangers. It is hard to spot any anomalies when it's dark out. Sophie was slowly treading on the sidewalk, the world around her muted and distant as her mind was whirling with thoughts. Oh, that's the man from earlier. Why did he go? Did he have enough? Was it something I said? Maybe he just forgot. The voices in her head spat judgment on him, blame on her, panic from this plight. Soon she stopped in her tracks, and all there is to hear is the rhythm of rain hitting the earth. She held on to Nyland's raincoat, held it tight. Her own coat weighs heavily. Are you kidding? Oh shit. I don't know what to pick. I'm trying to think. What would I pick? I don't know. This is kind of tough because in one way, I understand the hopelessness. But in another, I don't know. I would wonder if I would continue. I guess it depends. I'm gonna do this. If I don't continue, then there's no one left to remember Nyla and anyone else that may have been forgotten. I think that would be my logic. So, let's, I guess, save? And take it off. Heart beats louder, that it drowns her hearing. Her brain tells her, no, keep it on. The body betrays the mind as Sophie slowly sets down the coffee and her friend's raincoat. Shakily, she begins to withdraw her arms from the sleeves of her own coat. Do not look. Do not raise your head. Do not let your face be seen. The sky. Did we miss this? Because we were too scared to look up? Okay, let's load the other ending. Keep it on. I continued on home. I will mourn for Nyland, or maybe hope that somehow he's still alive somewhere. But I will not lie. The days grow darker, and the rain shows no sign of stopping. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know if I'd say either ending is more depressing than the other. I guess, in a way, taking the raincoat off is, strangely enough, a little less depressing. Because at least then she accepts her fate, and she also allows herself to, I guess, enjoy, but for a moment, what she's too scared to look at. Yeah, it's kind of tough, you know? Um, I don't, I don't know how I'd feel if I was in this situation. I would like to think that I could do it, that I could keep going, but I don't know. Something, something tells me that if enough happened, even I would give up. Eventually. God. Is that how we're gonna end our night? Oh, God. Depression. Oh, amazing. I mean, it was a really good game. Or story, I should say. Less of a game, more a story. I just... Sometimes... I just don't know what to say to some things. It's just... this, I guess. And this is just what it is, you know? It's an experience that's really tough to describe to someone. Because it's this existential dread that just lingers, you know? And yeah, I sometimes don't know what to say to some things. But sometimes all you can do is keep moving forward and hope things get better. But yeah, sometimes you just need to reach out and ask for help. Okay, I'm gonna do something a bit more cheery now. So, thank you for tuning into the frequency. This is the Rebel Lemon, depressed as all hell. So, good night and sweet nightmares.